myself, and is this that? Is this that? And I'm like, okay, thank you. You know, because I'm not like that. Like, I don't like for me, I don't like the term fan because we all poop. We all put on our pants. We all go to work. We all have bad days. We all have good days. And I refuse. I don't like pedestals. So I'm always like, no, you're not a fan. You're just a follower I haven't met yet.
Or friend.
Or friend. So I can speak English.
Well, I like to say that we're all fans because we're all fans of something.
Yeah.
So I'm just a fan like you.
Yeah. Exactly.
But we're fans of each other, we're so hypocritical about that because it's like, I don't like the term fan either, but when I see someone I will kind of get, like, that I really look up to, I'll kind of get a little shy and I'll shrink back in myself and I'll be like, oh my god, I'm such a huge fan of you. So I use the term fan, I just hate it being applied to anything I do.
I felt like that when I met you.
No, you didn't.
We all promise.
You didn't.
You know, the first time I met her, she was tooling leather in my garage.
Yeah, I remember that. That was super fun. Thank you for letting me use your garage. I use a lot of people's garages.
Actually, Megan, by the same token, once you kind of get a name and notice, then people realize when you do blog posts on occasion. How has that been as far as an effect on you over time? Whether it had been the issue, I can't remember what event it was that happened there, or things that happened around work, and you post about it, and then you have a whole, kind of a fan army that would leap to your defense.
Yeah, I mean, that's wonderful. I think that I'm very lucky to have cultivated a group of people that follow me that are very interested in the same things and have very similar ideals. And I think it's because I'm very honest about things. Like, I just tend to be out front about what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not comfortable with and how I feel about certain things. And so, if there's some unfair things going on the net, or if I write about something that's a very serious topic, I tend to get a very good response from people in terms of them being supportive or feeding back with paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of their own thoughts, and to have really intelligent, interesting conversations. And it's very valuable to me. It means a lot to me that people are not only interested in making costumes and playing dress up, but also in me as a person. And I think that that's kind of the ultimate compliment. It means a lot to me that people are like that.
Bless you.
Actually, makes a statement about the idea of just cosplayers, to itself, because they actually can make a difference. I mean, a difference in child's lives with the Avengers Initiative. When you see injustices being done and want to raise awareness, that takes in place. Yourself and how that's gone from, your job now is not intrinsic. Your day job is not intrinsically cosplay, but one begat the other, and now it's a whole new opportunity. So getting dressed up as a pretty princess and going to cons can really have an impact on your own life and the world and your friends and everything else.
It can. I think we touched on this in another panel. I actually worked for over 10 years in education. So I am now working in social media as a manager, and mostly because of that lady right there, she told me I'd be good at it. But because of cosplay, because when I needed stuff on my resume, I sent businesses to my Facebook page, which was kind of daunting because obviously not everybody is as accepting of their coworker getting dressed up in costumes or going to conventions, and they could be very judgmental. But fortunately, I've had a really positive experience, and now I'm working in a field that I absolutely love, and it's because of this hobby.
When you talk about life-changing or just experiences at conventions, my very first convention that I went to, I was obviously overwhelmed. It was super exciting. And I was dressed up as Indiana Jones, like I mentioned, and I met a couple of comic book creators and artists and stuff, one of them being Jim Ballant, who was instrumental in the 90s Catwoman and stuff like that for DC. And they were so excited to see me and Indiana Jones, because he loved Indiana Jones too. And they're like, oh my God, well here's books and here's this and we want to take pictures, and it's such a neat experience. So when we have a chance to do this again here, and there's people coming for the first time to a con, or they're putting on their first costume, it's a way for us to kind of pass that back so someone else can experience that, and then they continue. It's a pay it forward in costuming, I guess.
Good karma. Good juju.
Ashley, do you have any questions off the audience?
Don't be
Quiet crowd.
On average, about how long does it take you from start to finish to complete a costume?
It depends on what the costume
No
is.
answer for that.
Yeah.
I think we've all made costumes in 2 days. Marathoning, sewing, but I think we've also all made costumes in 6 months. So it really depends on what it is you're working on, what kind of materials you're working on, whether you are familiar with those materials already. Learning new techniques is a big part of this. We're always, as we have said several times, learning from each other. And so I rarely make anything that takes less than a month.
But at the same time, no matter how long you plan it out and work on it, you're still working on it 5 minutes before the convention. Like,
Oh my God.
Oh my
I've worked
God.
on a costume for a year before, and I've still had paint drying as I'm
Yeah.
driving down to Comic-Con. So
Why
like,
does that always happen? Why can't we find
I think it's
that?
because
Because
it's
we
never good
break
enough.
things.
Well, or you're never completely satisfied. So like, if you have extra time, you'll find something to fix or improve or make better.
I
And
should
so,
redo that
there you go.
wig. I have a week to order one and get it to me and restyle it.
This is a good idea.
I've literally had things show up at the hotel that I needed because it wasn't working out right for me leading up to the con. And I'm in a panic and I'm like, thank you, Amazon Prime.
No, seriously, Amazon Prime is the best thing for a cosplayer. Yeah.
No Prime would have one.
For the record, I actually don't make anything. I mentioned earlier in this panel, what do you do? My involvement is planning, event coordination, and project development. So I work with a lot of
Damn good.
licensees like Protobakia, Hasbro, Gentle Giants, Lucasfilm. But something that Keith has mentioned at another panel at another convention, and I believe wholeheartedly, you basically have three things, and correct me how you formulate, Keith. You basically have time, money, and resources. And when it comes to making a costume, you usually get two of the three, am I correct?
Yeah.
And you got to account for that. What I mentioned earlier, when I'm in clubs, that is a huge benefit. I get it, social media is good, YouTube's fantastic, but these message boards, whether it's the RPF, the Avengers Initiative has one, the 501st has not only its own message board, but detachments. There is a wealth of information in there. In terms of information, in terms of people you can meet with and talk to about making stuff. That's the stuff you want to try and do. Now, mind you, you mentioned that's how long it takes. My take is the same thing with fitness or anything else, or learning any new skill, is start simple and start small. And then from there, grow. Like I said, I started in Star Wars first. I have like, I think a dozen outfits there alone, and now it's just exploded. So start simple that you really like, and just go from there.
We have the CSI here, and then the girl in the back after that.
Yeah, so we're just starting out, and I would like to know where you can get kind of a list of different materials you can use and which ones work better under what circumstances. Because right
what are you
now
making?
we
Exactly, what are you making?
yeah,
Google is
what,
your friend.
What kind of foams? Because I hear it talked about a lot, and I have no idea the application of these different things and what would work
Once
best
these
in what
gals ask,
scenario.
what are you making, sir?
What's that?
What are you making?
What are you making?
Nothing specific.
Oh,
okay.
I'd like
Well-
to know what options are available
Come
to me.
by after, maybe shortly after this, maybe an hour after this. And booth 804 is where we're at. We actually have some samples of stuff and a card that we put together that actually gives sites and resources.
Oh, cool.
So
That's what I'm looking
it'll be
for.
useful.
A sewing machine is also helpful, unless you want to hand stitch.
Oh, we have that for that.
And kind of like they say, it very much depends on what you're making, because also the resource pool for people, if you're going after Halo armor, and this is what you want to go, the forums around that armor will have some very specific notes, but they've got great just general resource cards, and they're a wealth of information all the way around.
Is the website, is it cosplaytutorials.com?
Yes.
Yeah, cosplaytutorials.com is fantastic because you can look up by the type of material you want to use. If you want to learn more about Warbla and the practical applications, then you just click on W, go to Warbla, and it'll show you a list of a bunch of different people using it in different ways. You can do the same for the EVA foam, you can do it for a bunch of other things. So that's, I think, a good place to start. And it has everything from like wig styling tips to dyeing fabric tips and all of that. But that's a really solid place to start if you just want to explore and see what materials might be the easiest to work with.
And also, do not worry, because almost everybody, the first time they work with a material, will encounter a mega fail. It happens, it's a learning experience, and you might start off with one thing and end up with something entirely different. If it does, if you're doing armor and it ends up being completely borked, hey, battle damage.
Oh yeah, throw blood on it.
Back there. Favorite costumes?
That's a
Go down the
hard
line,
one.
start
All right,
tallest.
start tallest.
Oh, why start with me? Well, it depends
One.
on what day it is.
One.
So far, right now, Anna is my favorite costume because I just finished it and it's so much fun.
Okay, go Mark, quick.
My favorite outfit is my fan variation of Iron Man's War Machine.
I'd probably say Lady Two-Face or Warrior Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I gotta go with my Tony Stark Iron Man.
Yeah, it's tough, but I think I have to go with Aquaman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh crap. Pick one, Abby. What?
Yeah, pick one, Abby. Just one.
Tallest. I am going to probably go with one of my poison ivies, probably Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Because for me, that was the start of using all sorts of different techniques and blending them together and body paint. Which started a whole thing.
All right, we're going to have time for like one more question if everybody's got one. Yeah.
What is the most complex material you use to make your costumes?
Ooh, good question.
That's a good question.
Especially if there's one that seemed like a really good idea.
I think the most complex that we've dealt with has been fiberglass.
Well, I would say for me silicone, because silicone doesn't bond to anything except itself and, you know, like caulking materials. So getting that to bond to a latex body suit is interesting.
You did carbon fiber, didn't you?
Oh yeah. From a sewing perspective, this costume involved a lot of silk, and it's really, really difficult to work with. I'm not a hugely advanced sewer, so seamstress, so yeah.
Yeah, most of the time I work with like thermoplastics and foams, and those are pretty easy once you get going with them. But at one point in time, I had the opportunity to go to a machining shop and actually build like a really crazy, legit Claymore costume, and I made it out of laying carbon fiber strips into a CNC milled pauldron mold and working and baking carbon fiber and stuff. It was awesome. Don't think I'll ever have the chance to do that again. So.
For the record, I'd say a lot of my guys do vacuum forming, so anything involving fiberglass or steel bucks when you make molds, like for armor, that's pretty, takes a lot of care.
I don't work with a lot of crazy materials. I think the craziest that I've been experimenting with has been plant matter and a material. I'll talk to you about that, Abby.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I think we're getting pretty much close to end of time. Any last comments from our esteemed panelists? Bunny.
Okay. Whatever you guys decide to do, if you have questions, ask them. Ask, you know, any of the cosplayers. Ask anybody who loves dressing up. You know, it doesn't matter really what it is. You know, just ask us and go for it. Just follow that piece in your heart where you're like, I want to be a Thor buddy, or I want to be, you know, pajama Black Widow. Whatever you want to do, just go for it and don't ever look back.
Yeah. Actually.
I just want to chime in and say that, you know, this is an amazing hobby. Whether you choose to craft and make your own thing, whether you choose to commission and buy from other artisans who make their things, and whatever it is, if you love your fandom and you want to put that costume on, do it, have fun with it, and take every opportunity to interact with people, meet new people, talk to them, share your fandom with them, and they share with you, and trust me, you'll have lifelong friends that will change your life forever.
No matter what anybody says, there are no rules to cosplay, and never forget that. Just do, well, unless there are actually rules for like a convention, like follow those, but like otherwise, like there are no rules, there's no wrong way, no right way to cosplay. Do what you want, celebrate what you want. You are putting in the time, energy, and passion. So, it's your game, just enjoy it.
The internet's your best friend. Check Google, whether it's
Google.
Google food. It really is.
whether you check a group you want to join, if there are group photos at a convention, if there's a video you want to learn about how to make a product, or just see how events go, good place to check.
Have fun and don't worry that you look like an idiot because we're all in costume and it's not Halloween. Just
Yeah.
putting that out there.
Yeah, when it all boils down to it, no matter what happens, you know, someone says, oh, that's wrong, or this is right, whatever, we're all dressed up in costume.
And like I say, they're actually, almost every cosplayer are amazing people and very giving of their time and their comments. If you do try to catch them at an event, you know, understand that sometimes it's a good day, sometimes it's a bad day. If you ever they accidentally snipe at you when they're walking through and they're actually on the way to the bathroom, don't take it personally. Just send them a note a couple of days after the event and ask your questions, stuff like that. We're all people, and they wear these crazy outfits, and sometimes they're just not comfortable. You ask them about their feet at the end of the day. Yes. All right.
What feet?
Thank you guys very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have to serve the